Connecting consumer-grade generative AI directly to proprietary corporate data creates a severe vulnerability. Processing internal information on public servers risks immediate data exfiltration. Beyond the security risks, standard large language models lack internal context. They operate blind to complex enterprise structures, unable to distinguish between departmental data silos or individual user permissions. SAP Business AI addresses this by completely restructuring how enterprise applications interact with foundation models, prioritizing security and access control at the architectural level. This architecture operates across three distinct tiers. First, SAP Joule provides a persistent, context-aware user interface. Beneath it sits the Generative AI Hub, isolating internal systems from external models. Finally, the Business Data Fabric grounds the system, connecting to databases without relocating data. To prevent hallucination and secure sensitive information, these three layers must operate as a single synchronous unit. Let's examine the top layer. Most standard chatbots suffer from context amnesia, resetting their understanding every time a user switches tasks. Joule maintains conversational state across environments. A user asks about a supply chain order, then transitions from S/4HANA to the HR system, while the AI remembers the intent. Crucially, if that user asks for colleague salary data, the query is blocked by existing access controls. Through a bidirectional integration with Microsoft Copilot, employees can even query SAP budget data directly from Teams or Outlook, maintaining that exact same security permission framework. Embedding this capability directly into existing workflows yields specific operational returns, particularly in high-friction processes like procurement. A category manager evaluating an industrial pump can instantly analyze market fit and competitive variability. The system cross-references the internal product specifications with the underlying market data to generate immediate strategic guidance. For an organization with 90 category managers, planning these products manually takes roughly 16,000 hours a month. AI assistance reduces that workload to 9,000 hours, yielding an operational savings of $200,000 per month. The same embedded logic applies to human resources. Setting yearly performance goals requires defining descriptions, plotting milestones, and assigning due dates across entire departments. Automating this task across a 20,000-employee organization eliminates 5,000 hours of manual data entry, recovering roughly $150,000 in operational time. Because these 100-plus out-of-the-box use cases operate within the system's embedded permissions and context, they function as immediate software activations rather than complex ground-up IT builds. But an enterprise will inevitably need to develop its own custom AI logic securely. This is the function of the Generative AI Hub. It serves as a strict routing layer, separating the internal application from external foundation models. Different models excel at different tasks. The hub allows architects to hot swap between providers, like OpenAI or Anthropic, depending on the specific logic required for a given workflow. This developer interface shows the exact same query processed by two different language models, allowing engineers to verify which architecture produces the most accurate output. This external connection introduces the primary security concern for any CIO, the risk of corporate prompts being used to retrain public foundation models. Through specific enterprise agreements, the GenAI Hub enforces a zero retention boundary. Once a query is processed and an answer returned, the external model is blocked from storing or vaporizing the data for retraining. Architects gain access to the most powerful models available without exposing their proprietary intellectual property. Even the most advanced models will hallucinate if they lack accurate context. An AI is strictly limited by the quality of its grounding data. The traditional approach to grounding AI is brute force, extracting massive volumes of data from structured environments and dumping it into a centralized data lake. SAP bypasses this extraction process entirely through the Business Data Fabric. Instead of moving information, the data fabric acts as a transparent, federated overlay across distinct databases. When a query triggers retrieval-augmented generation, it scatters down through the fabric to index specific data points across untouched systems, returning a compiled response. If an employee asks an HR question, the system can safely index internal policy documents hosted on an external SharePoint server, extracting the exact answer without ever relocating the underlying file. A federated data fabric achieves enterprise-scale RAC while maintaining strict data locality and compliance. When connected, these three isolated tiers form a synchronous architecture. A query cascades rapidly from the UI, routes securely through the hub, grounds safely in the fabric, and returns as a unified response. IT leaders can activate embedded UI capabilities immediately, or utilize the orchestration hub to engineer highly specific internal logic. With a secure, context-aware backend in place, the front-end interface can evolve past standard desktop software. We are already seeing the integration of spatial computing. Using devices like Apple Vision Pro, executives can manipulate real-time supply chain data and spatial analytics, overlaid seamlessly onto their physical environment. Mastering enterprise generative AI requires building a secure, context-aware foundation that forces the model to serve the business, rather than the business serving the model.